Hello, welcome to One to the Force, the Star Wars podcast. My name is Phil, of course. I'm joined as usual by Dave and George. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello there.
Good evening.
And how are we all surviving?
We're doing very well.
We're all here, fit and well, and that's the best thing. And hope everyone out there is absolutely feeling good and great, and not having this awful thing, and staying well, just staying away from people generally.
It is
Stay at home.
It's the one good thing about the podcast. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to meet up. We meet up once every few years. It's fine. We're all good and dandy. And yeah, of course, we do apologize for not having a show a couple of weeks ago. There hasn't been a huge amount of news, and of course, getting everyone's source and making sure everyone's lives are in order has been key. But yeah, we've got a few things to talk about. Luckily, of course, a few bits of news dropped the last couple of days, so at least we actually have something to talk about.
Yeah.
George, go for it, yeah.
I mean, it's been four weeks since the main show. Obviously, we've got our weekly Clone Wars episodes, which we're having good fun with. We are at the halfway points. I would check them out if you are watching Clone Wars Season 7. UK folks, Disney Plus is out now. So I think they're up to episode 4.
Yeah, they've done the Bad Batch arc is finished. They are doing 2 a week until they catch up. So when you hit the Siege of Mandalore, you'll be in line with the US. So those 4 episodes will come out at exactly the same time on the UK and US.
And that's when we can all cancel our VPNs.
Yes.
But no, so that's the main gist. Now, if we're going to jump into the biggest news story, which is kind of, I don't want to say old news, but this is definitely potentially one of the biggest bits of news for a while that's gone so far under the radar, I think partially because of coronavirus, as we obviously know what's more important right now. But Rosario Dawson has been, quote, cast as Ahsoka Tano for The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, for those unfamiliar with Rosario Dawson, she's been in many things from Sin City through to Daredevil, all the Marvel shows. She's been in a lot of stuff over the last 15 years, and I've heard her name crop up sort of almost like the Donald Glover to the Lando casting many times over the years. If they were going to do live action, Rosario Dawson should be the one to play her, mainly because she naturally looks like the character. And that seems to me like it's been all but confirmed by StarWars.com. Variety's running it. The Star Wars Scoop websites are running it. Everywhere is running the story. We're not going to sit here and say we know. But it's got to the point where you've had the likes of Ashley Eckstein release statements, Dave Filoni changing Twitter cover out, which we're going to talk about. And it's everywhere. And I'm 99% sure that this is official.
Yeah, I'm with you on the percentage I'm believing it's official by, but I know that I'm in the minority when it comes to the casting. I'm warming to the idea, but as I said to you guys in our chat, I'm ready to be proven wrong, and I may end up eating humble pie, and that's fine. That's one of the great things about us. We have our debates between our varying opinions, but I just still don't see it. The voice is Ashley Eckstein. The character's always been that way. It was a character done for the for the animation that doesn't need to be in the live action, so I don't quite see why she's been brought into it all. But that's my opinion on it.
She's known for a while. Rosario Dawson has pushed for this part. She's always said it was a role that she wanted to play. I think someone tweeted it out a long time ago saying, would she ever look at it? She said it would be an absolute dream to play. I know when it came out, Kevin Smith, the director, had put out on his saying, congratulations, I know it's something you've wanted for ages. So I think it is more kind of official, that it may be more official than it's been put out by StarWars.com. They're the only people who don't seem to have announced it. Everyone else behind, like George says, have put this out there as an actual story. This is a done deal. I am looking forward to seeing what she does with the role, or even what the role is in the Mandalorian Series 2. It could be a 10-minute thing at the end of an episode. It could be it could be the last shot of Series 2. You know, it could be literally that fleeting. We don't know, but I'm really looking forward to seeing whatever she does and what she brings to it.
Yeah, I'm in that same mindset. I don't think this is a big role. I think this is something for the future. I think going back to what Phil said, that bringing her into live action's a big thing. I don't think this is with the intention of a nice little cameo. Here's Ahsoka riding off into the sunset. I think there's a bigger plan here. I think there is something in the pipeline, whether that be animated series, which we've been rumored, whether this is a live action Disney Plus series, which points in that direction with the era they're in, the Mandalorian stuff. I don't try and jump into speculation too much. I do love it, but Dave, you're bang on. I could see this being the sort of one of the final shots, or a 5-minute cameo in a series, or there's a Jedi baby in there who's coincidentally he's like Yoda. Why wouldn't Ahsoka take it away and teach it? You know, they did put that forward as a plot line for season 2 that it's going to be about finding Yoda's people, whether the people aren't there and it's actually Eckstein, not Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka Tano. That's going to be very interesting. So the Rosario Dawson's interesting. I think she's a perfect look for her, and there's a brilliant photo of her and Hayden Christensen together doing something a couple of years ago. Before we carry on that, I've got a comment from Matt Howard. So even gents, hope you're all well in coping right now. I want to hear about George's Lego goings on. I'm saving that for the toy shelf section, which I'm not going to put a timer on it because I don't know how long we're going to talk about the next few things, but I'm going to go into it in detail in this episode. So if you haven't seen our Twitter, have a quick look while you're waiting, while you're listening to us. If you're on the MP3, there'll be more of them on now, but there's a big Twitter thread which I'm really enjoying, which I will discuss a little bit later on, and it all involves Lego.
Yeah, we'll let George run with it later on. We'll let him have his we'll let George have his fun later on. Let him run with his Lego for a while. I mean, they had to put up with me talking about the books and comics for hours on end, so I'll let him prattle on about his Lego. It's fine. However, continue on with again talking about Dave Filoni and his new Twitter. There we go, cover. God damn, everything's going wrong. It's like even my mouse is now acting up. Seriously, the evening's not going well. But yes, he has updated his Twitter with this awesome, lovely new cover of Ahsoka and Rex. No explanation, just an update. In fact, Dave was the one to put it up after our Clone Wars episode on Sunday.
Yeah, it'd come out I think the day before we did our last Clone Wars episode. And literally, when I mentioned it, I thought you guys must have seen it. I can't believe I hadn't put it in the chat or anything like that. And you were like, no, what? And then obviously you guys went and had a look at it. And it's just this glorious picture of Ahsoka as we kind of saw her with the hood over there, the long shawl. And then we get Rex, who is definitely not in full on his usual Rex armor. There is some hints of armor there, but he certainly is cut up there riding the big Loth wolves. By the looks of it, well, they definitely are. But it's a lovely shot. And I love that Dave Filoni just put this up there. No explanation, no reason or anything behind it, apart from the Ahsoka story was breaking, and then to put this artwork up as well, which is so familiar to people who've watched The Mandalorian for the artwork style. It looks like a frame from the end of an episode.
I think, again, we don't have confirmation on Ahsoka, but I think this is Dave Filoni doing what he loves most. Teasing people, making people talk. I don't know if you guys remember, I think another podcast mentions, I've forgotten which one, that when Star Wars Rebels Season 3 second half started, it was after Rogue One, and they dropped the infamous trailer, our first ever video together, and they name drop Krennic. Dave Filoni clarified on that day, sorry guys, I don't want you to get your hopes up, Krennic isn't going to be in this Rebels season. Which obviously was a devastating blow for myself and many other Krennic supporters. However, Mr. Filoni has been silent yet. Surely, if Rosario Dawson wasn't cast, he would have said she's not in it. If Rex wasn't going to be in Mandalorian, why would you change your cover photo? Yes, it's brilliant to get people talking, but that's quite devious at the exact same time. So I think this could be a thing. And obviously after episode 6, we know he was in the Battle of Endor. We know he has a beard. What happened to Rex after? We don't know that. I'm very intrigued.
He's going to be in his 80s by this point. This is the problem. He's going to be.
This was my issue. This was my issue with Rebels, and it's not to sound nitpicky. I love the clones. Obviously, I think I've said this before. When Rebels started, obviously Clone Wars was done. There was no Clone Wars, so they used Rebels to type a lot of Clone Wars arcs. Nothing wrong with that. Worked brilliant. Obviously, now going back to Clone Wars after Rebels is like, okay, I can't kill these characters. They might have been planned to being killed anyway, but we know ultimately the most basic outcomes of each, e.g., Rex won't die in Clone Wars because he's in Rebels. The same with Ahsoka. The same with Maul. You can carry on and on. But we didn't know anything after episode 6. We didn't even know that he was the same clone. But my issue with this episode 6 thing, which it has been for many years, is that the accelerated growing. This is so pathetically nitpickish as well. But if they're
it is a little.
They're in their 30s inside 10 years, 15
Unless
years.
removing the chip somehow stopped the aging process. The accelerated
I
aging
don't
process.
think it did, because he's aged up more than Obi-Wan Kenobi between 3 and 4. It's just one of them where I'm not a scientist, but there are a couple of things in Star Wars I can't take, and I don't know why, but that's one of them I've just never, ever, ever liked. That's just me being a weirdo more than actual logistic.
I think as well, because they've kind of forced Rex into this position of being in Return of the Jedi. Like if you watch I know we're going to get a bit of the Galaxy Adventures series, to place him there, it's very much that guy who is on Endor, who you see with the beard, is now
Rex.
Canonically. That's the word. Thanks, Phil. You're brilliant. Rex, he's been made that even put the blue arm guards on him in the little animated shorts, which are excellent, by the way. You should get and watch those. But yes, the age thing is an issue. He is. But if they're going to now do this, and let's say it is Mandalorian season 2, and they are going to shorten it, you're right. Rex should be almost falling apart by this point.
He's in his 80s. Clone age-wise, he's in his 80s by the time. I actually had this discussion with Robin the other day. He's clone-wise, he's in his 80s by the time he gets to that point.
There's only one thing that I would like with this to do, which I don't think would work because of the man that played in episode 6, but Tamura Morrison gave an interview in 2017 to StarWars.com saying that he would happily play a live-action Rex if he could. Now, Tamura Morrison has not aged 50 years in the 18 since episode 2, which is terrifying.
No, but that's just makeup and prosthetics. You can age people up.
I mean, if they got, because he's bald now, if you see him, he looks a little bit older, but with Rex, it's the beard. It's not the face, it's the beard.
You can do the beard, no problem with
Exactly. If Tamura Morrison could grow a brilliant beard.
But the question is, do they then replace his voice with D. Bradley Baker?
No.
Phil, come on, let it go. Let it go.
Tamura Morrison to me is clone. Like he is the last man that every single Jedi saw before they died, unless it was Anakin that did it. That's why Jango Fett has always been better than Boba Fett, because he was the face that every Jedi saw. I would love Tamura Morrison to come back. I loved him in episode 3. Yes, the CGI wasn't brilliant below the neck, but everything else.
That's been my issue with clones. I hated the CGI, which is why when we had the flashbacks in The Mandalorian, I was so hoping for like proper actual live action clone suits. I was like, just please give me one. That's all I want. I don't want Attack of the Clones to be just born into my mind after all these years. It's still scarring me. I want proper clones.
I'm gonna love that if George Lucas directs an episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and it's the one episode where it's a flashback to clones, and George Lucas is like, CGI's back. I don't know.
Nothing is live. Nothing in The Mandalorian. I've replaced him.
Yep. They even replaced Baby Yoda, because even that's not untouchable. No. Oh, that's a nightmare and a half. Oh dear. But we also have another announcement for season 2 of Mandalorian as well, with Michael Biehn, which I don't think we have an image for.
So making Star Wars,
an image up of him. If you don't know who he is, he's you'll know him from Alien and Terminator. It's Kyle Reese.
Yes.
So yeah, making Star Wars dropped a scoop. Who are normally 90% accurate. These guys are good. They dropped a scoop that Michael Biehn had been cast. They believe that he's going to be in an episode with I forgot his name. Is it Bill Burr, the comedian that was in season 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
They believe that the two of them are going to be in an episode together. So he'll be like another bounty hunter. Which I guess all but confirms Bill Burr's return. And that's all we know at the minute. I'm guessing it will be like one episode and done. One thing I've noticed is there's a lot of sort of big name 80s people that crop up in Mandalorian. And if you, without getting into too much, you jump back into the ages of your Favreaus, of your Filonis, and that had been the era they were growing up with the films of Star Wars, them as a whole. And I can see that, like Nick Nolte being in it. You've got, obviously, Carl Weathers being in it. Michael Biehn is kind of up there, and it's very interesting. I'm not a massive fan of him, but I like the expanded sort of Star Wars universe.
And I guess it was nice to get to play with these characters, and some of them like a one and done where they don't have to have someone who is branching over the whole story with the Mandalorian. They can literally have someone, when you play this character, you're coming and doing one, and then we don't need you again. So I think it makes it a lot easier as well for the actors who come in, and especially because they're not having to go on location anywhere. They're going to a barn where they film everything, and I still find that incredible.
I mean, if they're based in, you can see why it's in LA. I know that Pinewood's brilliant. You know, it's the UK's big thing. But you can see why now we're getting all the American actors having small roles in Star Wars rather than here's all the British actors with small roles in Star Wars, because it's how easy is it for them just to go out of LA. Let's just go to this building, do a day or two on set. Do you need to make up? Yes. Do you need to do everything else? No. It's all a computer screen behind you, and you're gonna love it because you get to watch Star Wars and you probably get to hold Baby Yoda.
And that's reason for me enough.
Yeah. The other bit of news, of course, luckily, is that Mando Season 2 was wrapped up before the lockdown. So at least we know we're getting that on time.
Yeah, Gina Carano posted that on, I think, Instagram. She had like a photo of the wrap. So good timing in that sense. Obviously, when there's more important things in the world than release dates right now. This is for all things, not just Star Wars. I do wonder if they'll delay Season 2. It obviously depends on the logistics of, do they have people at home working on post? What's their plan?
The one thing I kind of worried about is the score, because obviously you want to score that series like you did the first one, you have to have an orchestra, and now getting an orchestra in a room together. But it obviously trickery these days. They could probably do an instrument at someone's house and it'll be mixed perfectly. But I guess have they announced if it's going to be the same composer for? Is it Ludwig again? Or
I would assume it is. They've not formally announced any directors or composers or actors yet, but it's quite obvious he's going to come back. I mean, he's doing the score to Tenet, which we all saw the prologue for before episode 9. Don't know if you guys can remember, but it sounded very Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Style.
We talked about it afterwards, yeah.
So I'm excited. I think he's going to do it. He's kind of got this, not gig for life now, but he's made it so much his own. I don't think they could go to anybody else. And I don't.
No, but you say he really has made it his own. The score for the Mandalorian, the actual soundtrack per episode, even if you just cherry pick some of the best parts, is a fantastic set of music. It is brilliant. I've got the theme. I don't have any of the soundtracks. I want to try and cherry pick bits of my favorites because I don't want every single episode, but they are fantastic.
And it's not. I wouldn't even say it's Williams-esque either. It's a mile away
its
from
own flavor, but it still feels Star Wars.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
He's
done a fantastic job with it.
Giacchino did the perfect Rogue One. He had the balance. This is This is just before 4. It's this era, so this has to be there. But here's my version of this era while doing new themes. Mandalorian is, you're in your own world now. You don't have to connect it to anything. How easy would it have been for them to trip the Force theme on when Baby Yoda lifted up the Mudhorn?
Yeah.
No, instead we had a more sort of, not meaningful score because it's still great, but you had that kind of like...
It had its own thing, yeah.
Yeah, and every episode's been on this. And you know what, like, composers to me seem very sort of... not incestuous, but you don't really see composers coming and nabbing each other's projects. They just tend to follow directors, and I think they all have sort of tremendous amount of respect for one another. I couldn't imagine any other composer, yes, it's Star Wars, but saying, I'm going to take all of his ideas and just copy and paste it in season 2. Not even like your superhero films have done that when there's been like 4 different Batmans. Everyone's gone with their own version.
Yeah, and this is one of the ones I'm glad that he really has made his own. I'm looking forward to, if he does come back, which 90% sure he would, then very much happy to see so. We've also got, again, talk about directors though. I think we mentioned this though on a previous show, was the Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, there's just more. The same article that dropped all the info about like Michael being stuff. They're saying they've got it confirmed that Robert Rodriguez is directed. They've not said how many episodes. They've not said who else is directing. Obviously, we know Favreau is, but I think Robert Rodriguez is now in that.
Well, I think we know that Filoni's done the finale purely from the slate that got released.
Yeah, well, you hope so, unless they haven't done a bit of trickery and released an old photo.
No, I don't think they would have done. No, I think it's genuine.
I think, we know Filoni will, Favreau will. I think Robert Rodriguez is a guarantee, and I think Bryce Dallas Howard's, that's been confirmed
if he has, then that's the episode I'm looking forward to the most. Because you just know that's going to be awesome.
Well, hopefully not as bad as Sin City 2. But,
yeah, okay, true that. But that's... Everyone's allowed one flop.
It's going to be interesting. The day they announced it, I mean, it's been wrapped. When they announced The Mandalorian was just as it started. Like, here's a new Star Wars TV series. Here are the directors that are going to be doing it, and it's filming now. Here's a photo. Enjoy. and that was it. Whereas we've had season 2 come out. Season 1's already been out, and season 2 it's all gone hush. I wonder if they're waiting for the European release to the weekly European releases to be done. Just in case
probably before they want that series to be all finished everywhere. Everybody's seen it who can. Now here's what's going to be coming with the next series.
Because they're the 3 people that don't think there's going to be season 2. The 3 people that waited to watch season 1 in April and May of 2020.
Yeah, although to be fair, on that particular, we've already kind of spoken about Disney Plus being in Europe, but yeah, we can say Disney Plus now has hit most of mainland Europe. There's still countries that haven't got it. I know Sweden, for example, still doesn't have it. But yeah, most of mainland Europe now has Disney Plus, and of course we all now have our VPN, so of course we're now watching everything as it should be.
Yeah, and as well as new releases, we've got Galaxy of Adventures has come back for a 3rd season.
Yes,
3 episodes on launch. I didn't know this, guys. I did not know that these were a season thing. I just thought they just released them as and when they felt like it.
Same.
No, they've been honestly, there really are some excellent ones. The way they take sound from the movies and overplay that at different points. They've even got some from, there's a one where it's Vader attacking just a rebel fleet, but they take some sound from Rebels, some sounds from other bits of different movies. So you get this amazing mix. My son, this is how he fell in love with Star Wars through these episodes on YouTube, Star Wars Kids. They are so well done. The 3 so far for the series. There's one about Princess Leia. There's BB-8 versus the First Order. And there's one about Kylo Ren. So just very brief. I mean, one of them's only like a minute long, so they're not like a big tasking watch, but they are done. They are so well done. I really, really enjoy them. I look forward to the new ones coming out.
Yeah, because he's sitting there watching that, you're sitting there going, "Good, everything is going exactly as I hoped."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I just think it's such a smart way for them to bring in a new generation, not to sort of. Sorry, I was on a swirl. Not to make digs at is it Galaxy of not Galaxy of Adventures? Oh, what was the awful one?
It is Galaxy of Adventures.
Forces of Destiny.
That's the one. Forces of Destiny. It had its fans, didn't last, didn't come back. I think Galaxy of Adventures was probably what Force of Destiny wishes it was. And it's completely different meanings. Obviously, it was more for the younger sort of female fans. Absolutely fine. Love that stuff. Have no issues with that. But I don't think that hit, and I don't think it gripped people to come back to it. Even the merchandise and the dolls they didn't work. Galaxy of Adventures, the merch
terrible.
Flying off. Merch is flying off shelves for Galaxy of Adventures. You can't get it anywhere. It goes out of stock when it comes in. The design of it's incredible. It's unique, and it's
a lot. But I mean, the Force of Destiny designs were god awful. They were really, and the figures they put out were just they were creepy. Whereas the Galaxy Adventure stuff is a lot better. And also, to be fair, it does actually tie into the comics as well, done by IDW, which is another cool fact which not a huge amount of people will know. But I've been reading the IDW stuff for quite a while now, and they do tie in every now and then. I just haven't watched them to go along with it because I thought they didn't think it was a season wise. I thought it was bits here and there. That's cool to see. I'm looking forward to.
Oh, sorry, I think I got off there. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, go front, yeah.
Yes. With all that. We've got the last few bits of news. These kind of come and say episode 9 images now on Star Wars Authentic. So if anyone that gets autographs in America, basically, you want to order your photos, Star Wars Authentic is the place to go. The more important part of this announcement is that we now have all the photos, over 300 from the film, in high resolution, so we can actually see things properly on the screen. For those watching on YouTube or Facebook, you will see at least a decent photo of the Emperor in terms of quality, because we've had that god awful photo that people kept sharing from the cinemas, which just looked awful. So it's nice to see some of the detail, and if only they could ship stuff to England, it would be far more interesting. But have a look on there if you're bored. You get some high quality photos, and if you want Facebook covers, you can do all that kind of stuff. So check that out. And at the same time, episode 9 has come out on Blu-ray in America yesterday, and we get it in England on April the 20th, just under 3 weeks. I hope they're enjoying their Best Buy Saga 4K box sets, because we can't even get 4K on Disney Plus in England right now. So I am very patiently waiting. I have seen, and I don't do unboxings, but I have seen a video of someone doing the 4K boxes, because I adore the idea of the the concept art being the vertical pages.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got your Ralph McQuarrie ones, but what sold me on the spot was the episode 1, the first disc. It's Doug Chang's Naboo Starfighter.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, this is when you know it's going to be a good box.
Mm.
I'm not going to say all 9 out loud for people, but you can have a look at them on YouTube. A couple more weeks, UK folks.
Not long to go, but I mean, a lot of the features have come out. If you get a chance, and you probably will be watching that documentary that comes with the series, it's an incredible look at the making of episode 9.
I must say that it'll be out in a few weeks for the UK. I don't think it will be at this rate. I must admit, I think they may have to delay the physical release. The download, I think, will be out on time, but I think the physical release may be delayed purely because of this lockdown.
Yeah, so obviously different films. I've been trying to get a copy of Le Mans 66 and Knives Out, which I cannot do in person. However, Amazon has them all in stock. Obviously, they are prioritizing obviously more important products right now than films, which I completely understand. So, like, I think on Monday when I'd looked, that it was a 5-day wait for Prime, people of Prime for films, and it was like 2 weeks for non-Prime members. I don't know if it works for I don't know how it works for pre-orders or not, because if they say on every pre-order you get your item on April 20th. Of course, it's more important to ship other things, but if they are saying that you'll get your pre-orders on release day, that potentially may be it. It might be, did you order afterwards? I don't know, but certainly I think the shops are going to have delays. Zavi seem to have got everyone their Knives Out copies, so all the online trading seems to be okay. It's just going to be for those wanting to get into the shop. So, I mean, Frozen 2 was at Sainsbury's when I went yesterday, but there was no Knives Out or Le Mans. So whether Disney have just prepared and just sent it to them, I don't know. But
maybe. And I also want to get Le Mans 1966 because I'm a big old petrol head and I do want to watch that at some point. But again, I know other things will come first, so it's just one of those things. I'm speculating that it may be delayed. So if that does happen, I won't say I told you so, but it's more just a heads up that may be a case physically. They may have the digital release brought up to compensate, but we shall see. And then I think the last bit of news we have is that John Kasdan placed down the Solo sequel on Twitter because he's saying the film would be a tough sell, and Disney Plus schedule is already packed to consider. And for me, that would suck though, because I must admit, Solo I would like to see more, but I think I'd like to see more in a live-action TV show on Disney Plus than a film.
Yeah, I see exactly what he means. Tough sell. No studio is going to greenlight the one Star Wars film that bombed. As much as I love the film, as great as it was, Bob Iger took the fall for that. You know, he said it's my fault. I wanted May. Shouldn't have done May. However, the knock-on effect from that is monumental, and even if they do go back to cinema releases for the future, it is a very tough sell to convince people. Give us another 200 million of funding for a film plus the marketing to fund a sequel to a film that made 390.
Yeah.
That's very tough for anyone. Obviously, the natural Disney Plus, and they just quote said it's quite too packed to consider. To understand that they've got Kenobi, Cassian, Mandalorian, potential unnamed series which is in development. Obviously, this lockdown, there's other things going on as well. Might be an Ahsoka series. We don't know what the pipeline is, but I'm guessing there is a lot of things ready. So I think one day, maybe. But I think had Solo have been announced today, as in the original, had there been no film in the first place, it would have been straight to Disney Plus.
Definitely.
And, you know, it's going to happen. There's nothing wrong with things coming out on telly these days. You've got some of the highest production. I mean, each episode of The Crown is like $25 million. It's the most expensive show in history. So that one series is the same price as like The Force Awakens. So there is the budget. Mandalorian has also showed what you can do on I mean, it's a very high budget, but for $15 million an episode, Mandalorian looks about $40 million an episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's
just amazing. And I say the technology they use for these things now, I say that's all shot in one place. I never once watching The Mandalorian picked out that was not location shooting places. Like, it just does not look like it's shot on a big high-vis screen behind them. The technology they're using is incredible.
For those of you in the audience who don't know what we're talking about, go and look it up, because what they did on that show with the technology they've done. I mean, they used it in Solo as well for the hyperspace, and they've used it in Star Wars before, but on the Mandalorian they took it to new levels, so they could really put the money into the production. And my God, did it pay off! It really does. And as you say, when you watch it, I mean, the biggest one I can think of is that opening of episode 1, where you have him walking along the plank, and all you just see is, of course, this surrounding of an ice planet. That's all on screen. That's a legitimate screen they have put up. Now, someone has shot that, or they've done some CG as well to get it all looking good to then put on a screen. But it's very different to then shooting that compared to shooting a blue screen, because you can light it all perfectly and you can look exactly how you want it to look, so having to compensate for what you think it should look like and then correcting it afterwards. And it does. It's all the better for it, but it just shows that if episode 2 had been shot that way, I don't think we'd be complaining anywhere near as much as we do these days. But technology moves with the times.
I was going to say, you can tell that there's a reason George Lucas is always on that set, and he is sitting there with his old island mates, having a laugh, Jon Favreau, Filoni, saying, this is incredible. And you can tell it's fun. And no, I'm excited. I can't wait to see more behind the scenes.
Still nothing that would beat that behind-the-scenes photo of George Lucas holding Baby Yoda, because that is just one of the best photos. It's just fantastic. Moving on from the news, we're going to move on to Star Wars. And I'm a sad Phil this week when it comes to Star Wars. I am very sad indeed. Although I'll back up afterwards with something good. But for the moment, all publishing is being cancelled for May for comics. April as well, it looks like, I think, actually has been canned as well. We're not going to get anything for the next couple of months. If the physical releases have already been printed, they've been sent out. However, all future printings are now under consideration. May, for example, I know has been cancelled. The Clone Wars IDW series that was going to be printed in April, that's been pushed back. It's understandable. Again, with what's happening in the world, we do have to take that into consideration. I can't just be selfish, go, I want all the comics and books, give it to me. In this scenario, yes, it's sad, but it's very understandable. It does mean, though, there'll be nothing for me to report on for the next couple of months, which is not going to be good. However, sorry, George,
are they releasing them digitally?
No, as it stands, they're not. They said Marvel has come out and said they're not releasing any digitals without a physical release to go along with it. And I like that stand. They want to make sure that people have both, have an opportunity to get both copies. I mean, you don't know these days if you buy a physical comic. In fact, I should actually have one right next to me. Fair enough. This is my pile set right here. So, if I go into it, what you may not realize when you buy a comic these days is you
get a code to do it
on
online.
the inside, you do get a code. Sorry, there you go, to have a digital release put up as well. So then you do get both copies. So you buy the one, you get both. And this one is for Beta issue number 2, and I cannot wait to read that, but that's again by the by. So no, they're not doing a digital release this time around. They said quite happily they're going steadfast. IDW doing the same. I think DC are not, but that's not relevant for this show. But yes, no, unfortunately, no, nothing will be coming in April or May as it seems. However, a different announcement to go with Star Wars is that I'm bringing Star Wars to its own little segment on the show. Hopefully, starting next week, I want to put out a show every other week that will be reviewing a comic series, a book, something each every other week. I'll be linking them all up and making sure that I put out content just to go through it all, because I love talking about it, and these guys don't always want to sit and chat with me whilst I'm going, and here's all the comics and books. I'll just get it out to you guys. If you want to watch it, it'll be there. So hopefully, starting next week, I'll have the Rise of Kylo Ren issues 1 to 4 to be able to talk to you all guys about, which I'm looking forward to.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Very good. Very excited to hear your thoughts on Rise of Kylo Ren.
Indeed. I mean, I'm interested to see what you think after you read the last part as well. But we'll come to that bridge when we come to that bridge to make sure that we can have a proper discussion on that one. However, we're going to move on to Toy Shelf. George, do you just want to crack on with your lovely little segment first? I know we've got other bits in the news. Do you want to crack on?
Yeah, let's get this done. If Matt's still watching, so the Lego goings on. So obviously we're on lockdown. I'm very fortunate I get to carry on working at home, and I finish work at 4:30 every day, knowing I can only go out for a walk. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of films I can watch. That's a lot of games I can play. That's a lot of screen time after being on a computer for 7 hours, not being able to get in the car or do anything. So I've said to myself for many years. I've always said to my parents as a kind of joke that in the garage at home we've got a wardrobe, probably the size of one of those behind me if you're watching, full of Lego. This was a wardrobe I had in my room as a kid before we moved house 17 years ago. That was my clothing wardrobe at this house. In the garage, that was the Lego wardrobe. It is full from the bottom to the top. of, well, 4/5 to the top of Star Wars Lego. I was not spoiled as a kid. I want to make that clear first. A lot of these sets have like reduced stickers like £3, which blows my mind that at one point in my life, a good Lego set cost £3. But it's like the £40 today. So anyway, as I did as a kid, I played with these. There are battered boxes. There is sellotape everywhere. Here is a set which I'm going to talk about. So this is Jedi Defense 1. The box is battered. Guess what? There's actually no Lego in it. So this set is somewhere amongst it's somewhere. Maybe it's in one of my other sets. Maybe the pieces are all lost after all this time. I don't know. So I always said that if I had a summer where I had nothing to do, the one thing I want to do is go through that wardrobe, get every single set out, go through every single set individually, make a list of the missing pieces, and then order it off Bricklink. Now, I did this years ago, and it was a kind of certainly ever going to happen thing. And here we are during a lockdown where I'm trying to find ways to occupy myself because I can watch many films and play many games, but I don't want to be staring at a screen for every time I'm not sleeping, as much as I love it. So I thought this is going to be the best time, if not to ever do it. And then I made the fatal mistake of opening my 20th anniversary Lego Star Wars sets when I had a lot of time last week, which I built all of. They're all here if you're watching, all 6 of them. They are beautiful. They are better than the sets themselves. And the moment I opened them, I thought I'll get a couple of weeks out of these. I got approximately a day and a half, and all of them were built. There's a slave one on my left and some other things. I'm not going to go through all of them. But anyway, going back to it. So I thought, I really want to build Lego, and I can't really afford to just buy loads of Lego. Granted, I've done that in the past when I just bought Millennium Falcon and bought every Rogue One set by one. But this was not that time, so I thought this is going to be the time, if not to go through them. So I think I sent you guys a video and some photos of just like, this is my Lego wardrobe. And then I've realized that, hold on, like this is pretty cool. I've got a lot of friends that are into Lego that are sending photos. Like, rather than send the same photos to like 3 or 4 different people, why don't I just do a thread? And I thought, well, we do this podcast. We all like Lego. So I thought, I'm going to make a thread that I can use for months to show everything I do. So I started it on, I want to say, Monday night now. And I opened a set. I took all the pieces out. Basically, as a kid, I don't know if you guys were the same, when you built a set, you wouldn't take it apart. You'd take bits off it and chuck it into the box until it fits. So every set, I've basically got to disassemble it, thanks to the beautiful creation of the orange things, which ran around when I was a kid, surprisingly. Then I've got to build it because the old Lego instructions don't have a key. You can only find out what pieces you've lost by either going to bricklink.co.uk, which really spoils the fun and makes it boring of doing a manual checklist, or you can rebuild it in its entirety to find the missing pieces. So I thought I'd go with that route. It's a bit funner, and there's a bit more to share. A lot of nostalgic memories. Surprisingly, I've got a spreadsheet with like a log, set pieces I'm missing, prices of the missing pieces. Right now, the most valuable piece I'm missing is the handle to Count Dooku's lightsaber from the 2002 Jedi Duel set, because, of course, Count Dooku, the one lightsaber I'm missing is the one curved lightsaber in Star Wars. So this is like my long-term goal. I'm not going to talk about it every show. I wanted to talk about it on this for a bit. And in the meantime, check out our Twitter.
I hate to ask, but how much is said curved lightsaber if you can't find it?
£4, which isn't much.
Oh, I mean, it's £4 not much, but when you consider it's already that big.
Yeah, and it's more the fact, like, there's going to be hundreds of missing pieces. I mean, yesterday, the last one I did was the Naboo Starfighter. After approximately 3 steps in, I realized that I don't actually have enough pieces to even start this. And then it's like looking at the box and realizing that the really obvious things, like a cockpit, I've not seen either. I have a bold Anakin Skywalker on my desk because he doesn't have his helmet. And so I need to go through that like an audit now, manually, piece by piece, against an online spreadsheet. So it's going to be very time consuming. I've got here some zipped bags, so every time I do a set and complete it, I can lock them basically into the boxes rather than keep putting sellotape on them. You know, it's been really fun and it's been really nostalgic. And I actually quite not arrogantly said that I really enjoy the fact that a lot of people have like been liking on Twitter. Like, it's really cool. I don't use our Twitter much because I didn't have the new password, which says a lot. But it's really cool, like interacting people talking Lego, and the screenshot someone put up was the Lego Pod Racer. And if you guys want to go on about Lego one little bit longer, that was the first ever set I was bought as a kid. Now I don't know that, I've got no memory of that. But that
the first one I got bought was the very first one they released, which was the Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn set. I do still have the pieces for that.
It's in basically in my room right now. I don't know if you can see it. There's one humongous bin back there. There are 3 of them, and all of them are just the original Star Wars Lego Star Wars sets. So I know it's kind of spoiler for future, but obviously I hit an age where you don't get Lego anymore. It's 2005. The last ever set I was bought was Anakin versus Obi-Wan, Jordan, Mustafar. Did not get a single. Didn't ask for them, to be fair, but didn't get any. And then in 2016, when Rogue One came out, the first that I bought in 11 years was the Krennic Mobile, and I had no hesitation, and I built it in a night. I'm a friend of mine at university who's massive on Lego, so I was kind of slowly not getting back into it, but I was in a vibe like I know I'm going to pull the trigger soon, but it's pulling the trigger on what? And then along came the Millennium Falcon. Plot twist, I will not be disassembling that one to reassemble. But I would lose the plots. But no, that's my big Lego project. I don't know how often. I'm probably not going to do one tonight after this video. I've done a fair few. I'm probably going to do some tomorrow. I don't have an order. I'm just picking boxes. To be fair, I've done the smaller ones first. So it's going to be mainly prequels. I want to get a load of prequel stuff done. But yeah, sorry to keep ranting. It's a lot of fun, and it's very sort of nostalgic.
It's not a rant, it's different. It's a nice little pleasant.
Yeah, it's a project, isn't it? Like it's something that I can do as and when. Obviously, we're not going to be let out lockdown tomorrow morning. It's going to be at least 3 months. And the best thing is Bricklink is operational. So I can get those pieces. Obviously, I'm not going to buy them all up front. That'd be insane and expensive. The downside of all this is that obviously I'm sitting here building Legos, and I'm like, well, there was a modern version of this a couple of years ago, which is far better. And I've already ordered the Duel on Naboo, which was £40, and it only came out 3 years ago. Plot twist: when I was younger and I worked in retail, that set was £15 in the reduced style for 3 months. I never pulled the trigger. Now I spent £40 on it, because now I'm learning the values of minifigures. Dave beautifully pointed out I have one Lego minifigure of £70. Phil, I'm going to give you 3 guesses to guess which figure this is.
Is it the one that you put up in the chat the other day?
No.
No, it's...
I would not know this if Dave hadn't told me.
Okay, let me have a little think, because I do know Robin, so I do know some pretty valuable one. Is it Cad Bane?
No, never had any Clone Wars, so there's nothing between 05 and 16. You got one.
Okay, all right.
You got to think if it's valuable, it's probably from when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to work back.
It doesn't really help because every set came out when I was a kid.
Yeah, but that's okay. You are looking at prequel era.
I am the prequel era, fully fledged. I have no shame.
Yeah,
it says it all that I'm having fun at going through my prequel sets than my original trilogy.
Is it Jango Fett?
It's not.
It is not.
It is.
It is the beautiful
Watto. He's worth £70 because he was only.
He was only released in one set. It's that plastic body that goes over the main bit. That's this one mold.
Yeah,
makes it. Yeah, that's what you're paying for.
It has to be Watto though, doesn't it? Though, no money, no buds, no deal.
I might just keep him as I might chuck him on the 20-year stand as just being like, goodbye Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now it's Watto's turn. It's been a lot of fun so far, and it's cool just sharing stories with people because it is very nostalgic. But there is going to be a point when I start going on the big sets where I'm going to completely lose my mind when I'm building a Republic gunship, and I'm probably going to be missing 50 pieces, and they're probably 10 of those mean I can't do the next 50 steps after. But no, that's my Lego. I'm calling it the Lego log.
Yeah. So if you want to follow George's Lego log, go to Twitter. He'll put it up there. Maybe on our Instagram as well. If he feels like we'll have something towards that. If you want to follow the new Star Wars series starting next week, join me for talking about all the books and comics. And Dave and I will be back doing Resistance at some point, and we'll finish it. We'll got our separate projects to go on. One's the Force, because we're bored and we can't do much, so we'll bring you as much content as we can. Haha! But moving swiftly on from something we're happy to talk about, excited to talk about, something I'm really not excited to talk about, and that is these Lego busts, which if I match, that mouse will actually work. There we go. So these are now all released. I think it's £55 each, which seems rather extortionate. So all 3 sets are 550-ish pieces per one, apparently. Although Dave put that, or Josh put in the chat. Apparently, though, if you look at it, it's 625 for Boba Fett, 724 for the TIE Fighter helmet, and 647 for the Stormtrooper helmet. So, George, where you're getting your maths from, I have no idea, because the average of that is about 700. But that's not the point. The point is, though, that Boba Fett looks pretty good, actually. I may get that one. That's okay. The TIE Fighter one's meh at best, and the Stormtrooper helmet one, I cannot stand it one bit. I don't know how you guys feel about those, though.
I'm the same.
I'm not a fan of these at all. Lego does not work for busts because of its angular nature. It doesn't put itself well to things that need to be so smooth, and like these are helmets, these are shaped like the rounding on just the tube parts on the side of a Stormtrooper helmet does not. I can
tell you why it looks wrong. There are no straight lines in nature, and there are no curves in Lego. That's why it does not look right.
Don't work for me.
My biggest disappointment of a Lego set was the Aston Martin DB5 James Bond. Don't get me wrong, I love James Bond, I love Aston Martin DB5s, I love Lego. And then when I built it, I liked it. I was like, the DB5 is smooth, it's curved. This is Lego. So it's my fault, but I'm in the exact same vein. I do not like these at all. I like the Boba Fett, but do you know why? Because they got the visor right.
Yeah.
If the visor didn't look right, the thing fails. All I can guarantee is that they'll do a Mandalorian one for season 2. They will do some strange ones. I don't think these are going to last long. They're not as bad as the Brickheads. Never understood how they're still a thing, why they were ever a thing. But I really disappointed by this because Lego's not got much coming out right now. We know they've announced the Mandalorian ship set, which I'm definitely going to be buying. That comes out September the 1st. Way too early to have announced that at the Toy Fair and open at pre-orders. But really disappointing for a new Star Wars series. I love when they've done things like this for like the BB-8 set. I'm pointing because I've got it in a cabinet. They've done it right when they've done these kind of small master builds, but helmets really, I don't think it works.
Indeed. But moving on from, again, something we don't all like to something we do all like, and that is the new lovely Mando and Baby Yoda Hot Toys duo announced that we are in his full best car, and it does look absolutely pretty.
I want one.
Hot Toys. Yeah, I'm sorry, George, just stepping on your foot there. Just saying, Hot Toys do what Hot Toys do best, and making the best looking statuettes, figures that you would want to have on display. This is another case in point that is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it is rather nice, and all of us do want it. And then we're going to move on to something that, Dave, you have ordered, which is the life-size Baby Yoda.
Well, unfortunately, due to circumstances that we are now living, I have cancelled it because mine was the sideshow version, not the Hot Toys.
Right, okay.
When it came out, but because of the situation we're now in, I have cancelled that pre-order until once this is all blown over, and make sure buying £300 dolls of Baby Yoda is a good okay thing to do. So, but to be honest, I don't think I'll go back to the sideshow one after seeing the Hot Toys one. This is the one I would probably go for out of the two. They are very similar, but the fact that this comes with the interchangeable hands and a few more accessories would make it a better buy for me out of the two.
Yeah, for sure. It is the nicer one of the two of them. It does look stunning, and it is one of those things. If I had the money, I would, and space, I would get one. I mean, to be fair, it's easier to fit in than some Lego sets. It is not exactly that big.
The best thing with the Baby Yoda as well is it's one-to-one scale. It's exactly the puppet. So you're literally getting, you're not just getting like a miniature version down or something. You're getting a life size as seen on the screen, and the Hot Toys one would be just outstanding.
Yeah, and unlike the other life-size figures they do, it's not going to cost you the end of the earth when you know it shouldn't cost you the end of the earth.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more realistic in price. And they're going to move on to the new Hasbro stuff as well. So Hasbro saying the Baby Yoda pre-order's gone up in demand due to lockdown and Disney Plus being in Europe. Again, though, whether they'll be released on time, that begs to see. Well, we just don't know in this particular time at all. And then, of course, we had the Hasbro Fun Day reveals, which is the new Black Series figures, which I'll bring those up now. If you want to go through them, either George or Dave.
Yeah, so we've got a carbonized Boba Fett, which actually looks rank than where I've looked at it.
I like it, but I'm the unique one here for that one.
There's been so many Black Series Boba Fett's. I understand why they've gone back for a carbonized one. They've really missed the plot. If you do one carbonized figure, it should be carbonized Han Solo, and it's literally just a block. But no, this is what we have. So I don't mind. It looks okay, but Boba Fett's it's just been overdone, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. Then we've got an Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, which looks no different to any other Black Series Darth Vader that's ever been done. Helmet may be a bit shinier. Then we have Tebow, which is actually beautiful.
That is a really nice looking figure.
Yeah.
Begun the Ewok hype maybe for Black Series. They haven't done a wiki yet, have they?
No.
Surprisingly so. The Ewok army begins. Then we also have the best one of the announcement. We have the full Beskar Mandalorian. Now we can't see if he's going to have the Mudhorn logo on his shoulder pad.
He most likely will.
I mean, if they've got it on the Hot Toys, I'd expect on the Black Series, but we all knew this was coming. They've already said this is going to come out in fall 2020, so obviously tying in with Season 2's release. The worst figure in the history of Star Wars is the carbonized Stormtrooper. Now, these carbonized figures, they're just normal figures in carbonized packaging, so I'm not quite sure why they've decided to basically make a metallic Stormtrooper armor.
The Sith Trooper one did look really pretty, though.
It did, but it's the packaging that makes it valuable, not the actual figure.
Yeah.
And I think they need to kind of look at which figure they're doing when they're doing these carbonized ones. Yes, it quite worked well with the Sith Trooper, that it was a new figure and you're getting this shiny new armor. With the Mandalorian, you get that choice. If you can either get the standard one or you can get one that's got a much shinier armor, great. But to do a Stormtrooper that is chrome, when the only chrome Stormtrooper we've really seen is Phasma, look, if you're going to do it, go out and do Phasma, no matter how much Phil wouldn't buy it. You could do that. And you would understand if they brought a Phasma out and did the chrome version on that. That would look great.
Jango Fett.
Absolutely. A Jango would be amazing with this version, the carbonized version.
B2 battle droids.
Something like that, yeah. You've got so many options, but this just to make a chrome Stormtrooper for me makes no sense at all, and it looks hideous.
This will be on the shelf for many years to come.
Indeed. And then we've got to wrap it up with the Vintage Collection ones.
Yeah, so we've got a Vintage Collection K2 and a Vintage Collection Clone Commander Wolf. The thing Vintage Collection, no one wants the professional photos. They want to see the card packaging. I don't know how many press releases it takes for them to get the memo, but they never seem to, do they?
No.
I do have my 41st Elite Clone Division one, which actually I got from you, George, and I will want Wolf to go with that.
I've heard that Crate Luke Skywalker Vintage Collection is now going for over £100.
Wow!
Yes,
and I swear it came out a few months ago. For that,
it did, and it's now. It basically had one printing of it, and you cannot get your hands on it for love nor money. It's ridiculously expensive, and I wish I'd built one when I found one. But oh well, is what it is. And then we are going to wrap up the evening with games. Not a huge amount of news, but except for the one big old thing. Yes, we had Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy come out on PlayStation and on Switch, but also. The glory that is Pod Racer is coming to the Switch, and my god, am I so happy that I've got a Switch because I will be getting this. It is coming to the PS4 as well. I don't know if it's coming to Xbox, but I know it's coming out for
just Switch and PS4. This is a very. I mean, I kind of not right. Right now, I keep saying I was selling my Switch a couple of years ago. I got a really good price for it. I made like a £50 loss on the console, which is almost impossible to do. So I don't regret it from that standpoint. However, if this game had online, I'd be all for it. I love it. I've got it on my PS3, so I can't justify buying it again. I can't have it on a PS3 and a Switch. PS3 because it's downstairs. The PS4's in my room next to me. Give us a real pod racing game. I'm not being demanding, but there were some great arcade games. This is a classic game. The market is there for. It doesn't need to be serious. It doesn't need to be detailed. A pod racing game in modern graphics. With a bit of online, be like was it Motorsport? No, there was a MotorStorm on PS3, the humongous franchise. That's basically pod racing, but on quad bikes and stuff. Get on it, guys! It's so.
Give us a bunch of customization, and we're happy. Sit there for hours on end making your own pod. and it would just be
I mean, maybe there's potential if EA are giving if Lucasfilm are going to give the license out elsewhere, give it to everyone. But it's nice for getting these old releases, but at very expensive prices. And I get they can't just add online. They actually could have, because they've got to develop it in new technology. But very excited about us.
We haven't got. Don't know if we've got a price for this. But I know that Jedi.
They haven't confirmed it yet. Jedi Academy is stupid. The PS4 version is like £19.
Yeah, but the Switch version is like £8-9.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot there.
But again, the Steam version's £5-6. So it may just be the port.
It's because it's been on Steam for years.
It may just be the port that makes it a little bit more expensive for that particular one.
Yeah, and also it's PS4 and Sony.
Yeah,
but that's all the news we have.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it's just a perfect portable device for these games, especially these older ones. But you're right, a new racer game, a pod racer game, would be an absolute must for me as well. Just to sit down, something like one of the Grand Prix games, just put a bit more in depth into it. Really great courses, really great, amazing world tracks. Would love that. But yeah, absolutely. I think we are kind of all done with sort of the news. There isn't a lot out there, but obviously the world in the minute is a weird and strange place. And we put this out so hopefully everyone gets a bit of an hour's entertainment, because who needs to be in the real world right now when we can talk about Star Wars for an hour and forget about it?
Exactly. It's not like we'll be gone for long either, because we'll be back this coming weekend with our next Clone Wars episode as well.
Absolutely.
Episode 7.
I'll hopefully have the Star Wars episode up by next Wednesday. So again, keep on coming back. We've got more content for you. But guys, I think that's about it. Anything else to add before I close out the show?
No, go for it, Phil. Close us out.
Fantastic. Well, as I say, as per usual, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Ones of the Force Star Wars Podcast, at the Force Podcast. You can find the videos for this on our Facebook and YouTube page. You can also find the audio for this later on our Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. Our merchandise can be found a link down below. Until next time, we've been Ones of the Force. May the Force always be with you.